So here I am, ready to do my car park wash. What do we have? This is a fertiliser sprayer. Get this from any garden centre. Make sure that you fill them up with water if you know where you're coming to ride doesn't have a water supply. What else do I have? I have some degreaser, I have a general lube, I have a specific chain lube, I've got some bike wash, a brush for getting the nasty bits of dirt away, and then an old rag to dry it all off best I can before I get home. Okay, so step one, rinse the bike off, making sure it's all nice and wet. Remember, you don't have that much water, so you need to sort of be a little bit frugal with it. Aim for the worst sort of places, up in the head tube, just, you know, where the general dirt sort of gets in, down here in the chain stays. So the next step now is to make sure you get the bike spray all over the bike and start to work that dirt off. This is a bicycle specific spray, so it is safe to use on all surfaces, including your carbon, your brake discs, even works well on drivetrain. We can spray this on and then sort of give it a minute to work its magic. So I've left the bike spray on for a few minutes and just start with the main frame, giving it a good going over, getting in all those areas, just trying to agitate the dirt and get the worst of it off. I try and do all the main tubes, the forks, frame, seat, handlebars, all those things first. Then I'll move on to the wheels and then lastly do the drivetrain. Drivetrains can be sort of dirty, greasy, grimy, and you don't want them staining your brush, and then when you come to put it back on a frame, you might find it stains it, leaves oily marks. So I've given it a good going over with my brush, plenty of bike cleaner on there. Now I can just swill it off and hopefully should be looking pretty good. You can use your hands to sort of get the soap off a little bit. Sometimes you get little smears and stuff on there, but just by rubbing your hands on helps get it clean. Keep a check on how much water you have left. This is only a sort of 7 litre little tank, so I need to be aware how much I use to make sure I don't run out halfway through. Don't think it's looking too bad, even if I do say so myself. So now we've finished washing, we've got the worst of it off. Just going to go over it with a rag for 2 reasons really. One, we can clean up those little bits of mud that we've missed, and 2, get the majority of the water off the bike. This will prevent it sort of doing any damage and getting in the bearings. One thing that's also worth doing is sort of picking the bike up and giving it a bit of a bounce. This will get a lot of the moisture and drive it out of there. And this is the most important bit with the forks really, is the moving parts. Just get your rag like this and sort of cleaning in there around the seals, and we'll also put some lube down in the seal that'll keep the dust wipers clean and hopefully pull some of that dirt and grime out of there. So it's exactly the same order as before. We started with the frame and the forks, and now we're moving down to the wheels, and then lastly we'll do the drivetrain. Get the rag, put it around the chain like this, and then just pedal it backwards, gripping onto the chain there, and that should get 1, any moisture off the chain, and 2, hopefully keep your chain quite clean and nice and silver looking. We just put a bit of chain lube on, just run it on there, spin the pedals back until you've got a full covering right the way around the chain. That's it, drivetrain's all done. All the moving parts, I like to keep them nice and free, drive out that moisture. This is just a multi-use PTFE spray. Just using the cloth to try and protect from any overspray getting near the rotors, because it won't do them any good. Also good to use it on the shocks here. It'll drive all the dirt out of those seals and keep those parts moving nice and freely. And lastly, but by no means least, one of my pet hates is if I wash my bike and come back to it and the stem cap's rusty and the stem bolts are rusty. So I always make a habit of just putting a little bit of lube in them. Keeps them looking fresh and your bike looks newer for a bit longer. So there you have it. That's my car park bike wash. As you can see, I've done a pretty good job. Looks the part, and it's ready for my next ride. And if you'd like to see a more in-depth bike wash video, you can click up here for Neil's bike wash. And if you want to see brand new shiny bikes, click down here for the Pro Bike playlist. And click on my nice clean Canyon to subscribe to GMBN.